a particular time and a particular action with a particular subject. There are 16 types of tenses. If you actually read out, if you only follow this table, your whole tense lesson is done. Hello students and welcome to Prep School English classes. Today's session is grammar and I'm going to take the topic tenses. Now, tenses is a part of your grammar syllabus for the academic year 2021. Earlier to this, I had done determiners. I hope you have watched the video and you have understood the topic determiners as well. Now, when you look at tenses, it's a vast topic in English grammar and it is pretty much confusing at times. But what is that I have done? I have brought it down to the simplest form so that it won't be confusing for you and it is related to your examination only. And also, I have this complete confidence that as CBSE students, I'm very sure you are familiar with this topic, the tenses. So what is that I will be discussing today? I will be discussing about what are tenses, what are the types of tenses. I will give you all few examples and followed by few exercises. So, when I talk to you all about what are tenses, what does that come to your mind? If I say, the teacher is standing here, the teacher was standing here, the teacher is going to stand here. You're talking about some action, isn't it? Or if I say, the teacher is teaching, or the teacher was teaching, or the teacher is going to teach. Once again, what is that you observe? I'm talking about a particular time and a particular action with a particular subject, isn't it? If I say subject is teacher and the verb, the action that is teaching, so there is a form. When was she teaching? So that is exactly what is tense. So, that being what is tense, wherein you're talking about an action, whether it is past, present or future. And when you look at what are the types, when you look at the forms of this action, past, present, future, you will have 16 types of tenses. In that, 12 becomes the active tense in the active form and 4 becomes the passive tense in the passive form. But passive tenses are not that important for you right now. We will understand only the active form of tenses, the 12 types. So when I tell you all the types, I will be teaching you all today the 12 types of tenses. Did you get that? Then you will have few examples, simple example and followed by exercises. Now once again, so when it comes to exercises, I'm not very sure what are the kind of questions that you can expect. In the sense, due to deleted syllabus, there's a slight change. But however, what were the general questions? Those exercises will be solved in the class today. So moving forward, let's understand what are tenses. What do you mean by tenses in English grammar? Now, observe few sentences, read it as it appears on the board and get to know what is that you understand. If I read out the first one for you, he will be going by bus today. They have lived in this house for a long time. I have been standing in the hot sun. She was talking over the phone. We are traveling by road. My mother had been shopping. What is that you understand? You understand there is a subject in the sentence. You understand there is some action which is happening and you also understand the time of the action. If you look at the first one, he becomes the subject here. Okay? And what is the action? Going. Going becomes the action. So, an action word in English grammar is called as what? It is called as verb, isn't it? And there is a time. There is a time when the action has happened. So, will be the time. That is the verb form. So, this one is actually the tenses. So, look at it. When you look at these words, going, lived, standing, looking, traveling, and the last one is shopping. When you look at these words, these are the action words in the sentence. So these action words are called as verbs. Now moving forward to the special verb forms. Have a look at it here. Will be, have been, was, are, had been. Okay, it tells us the verb forms in the sense the time of the action, and those are called as tenses. So the time of action of the verb pertaining to the subject is called as tenses. Is that clear to you? Please have a look at the board. I hope that was clear. Please understand all the sentences, subject and the action word. So what time the action happens, that is the verb form, and that is what is called as tenses. So let's move forward to look at what are the kinds of tenses or what are the types. Now, tenses come in the form of active tenses and passive tenses. But I am not going to touch upon what is active and what is passive. All put together in English, there are 16 types of tenses. How many types? There are 16 types of tenses. In those 16 types, you will have 12 in the active form and 4 in the passive form. So what is that we are learning today pertaining to your syllabus? We will be learning only 12 types of tenses. Those are in the active form. So in today's class, I will be teaching 12 types of tenses. Have a look at it. When I tell you simple, or when I tell you continuous, or when I tell you perfect, or when I tell you perfect continuous, what does it come to your mind? What do you feel about this? There is an action in a particular manner, isn't it? If I say I write, it is simple action. Or if I say I will be writing, I am writing, that becomes a continuous action. In the same way, it goes on with perfect and perfect continuous. So to understand the tenses, you see past, the action has already happened. Present, the action is happening, and then future, the action is going to happen. So for example, if I say the teacher taught the lesson, that means the action comes to past. The teacher taught the lesson. But if I say the teacher is teaching the lesson, that is right now, presently the teacher is teaching, so that becomes present tense. Or if I say the teacher will be teaching the lesson, then it is future tense. So I come here to the future tense. So with this, let's look at the types of tenses. Past simple tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, past perfect continuous tense. You finished with 4. Next, present simple tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, present perfect continuous tense. Another 4, it became 8. And then future simple, future continuous, future perfect, future perfect continuous. So together you got to see how many types? 12 types of tenses. Please have a look at it. Does, we derive at 12 kinds of tenses. So, what are the 12 kinds of tenses in English grammar that we are going to learn today? The first one being present simple, second one present continuous, third present perfect, fourth present perfect continuous. So these are the four present tenses. Next, going to fifth one, past simple, sixth past continuous, seventh past perfect, eighth past perfect continuous. These four are the past tenses. And then future simple, future continuous, future perfect, and the last one, future perfect continuous. These are the future tenses. So it sounds interesting, isn't it? But I told you it's a little bit confusing also. So follow this table always. You will have 4 kinds of present tense, 4 kinds of past tense, 4 kinds of future tense. That is it. So we are learning how many tenses today? 12. But totally how many tenses are there in English grammar? It is 16. With this, let's move forward one step ahead to understand these tenses in a very simple way. Now, I have put up a table for you. In this table, whatever you see in yellow, those are the tense kind. And whatever you see written in white, they are the example. Looking at that, I'm sure you got to see all the 12 kind of tenses that is there for you to learn, isn't it? Now, all that is there in yellow are the 12 kind of tenses. Now, if you follow the examples given here and then relate it to the tense, your job is done. You can understand the tenses very well. No need for you to see my full video. Going ahead, I will be explaining in detail part by part. If that may be confusing for you, you come back to this slide and have a look at the whole table and then connect it to the tenses. So with this, let's see what do you mean by tenses. What do we understand? What are tenses? Tenses are verb forms which indicates the time of when the action has happened. So what are tenses? It is the form taken by the verb to indicate. What does it indicate? The time of action. It indicates the time of action. Repeat this. It is a form. Tenses is a form taken by a verb to indicate the time of action. So, the time when the action has occurred. It indicates the time when the action has occurred and whether it has occurred in the past, future or present. Whether it is in the past, present or future. So this being what are tenses, you need to next understand the verb forms. So dear children, it is not important that you need to by heart all this. Even when I am moving to the next slide, the verb forms, the forms of verbs, it's only for you to know that there are 5 kinds of verb forms. But that has got nothing that you need to by heart or you need to take down everything or some question is going to come. What are the verb forms? List it out. No. Just understand the verb forms. There are 5 verb forms. Okay. It is base, past, past participle, then the S form and the ing form. Okay. Now we call this base as verb form 1, verb form 2, V3, VS and V ing. Okay. When you are applying it to the tenses as a formula, these are short formed like this. So what is the example for the first word form? If you take the word begin, that is simple. Begin. Began, that is past, and past participle begun, and then S begins and it is beginning, when there is an ing form. So have a look at the forms of verbs. So far if you have understood what are tenses and how you can identify a tense and how you can use it, that is all what are tenses. But if you still feel that no ma'am, just show us a little more detail, let me take it up particularly and explain what are the tenses. So let's start with the first one, the present tense. You need to understand present means something happening now. At this minute, I am standing here. It is a present action. So present tense, what do you mean by a present tense? Present tense shows the current action. Remember, present tense shows the current action that is going to be performed. If I am teaching, if I am writing, if I am dancing, if I am screaming, if I am smiling, that is, if I am doing it now, currently, that is present tense. So how many kinds are there in this present tense? You will have 4 kinds, isn't it? So let's see the first one. First one is a simple present. What is the first one? Simple present. So in a simple present sentence, what do you see? You see the subject. You see the subject and then you see the verb. Which form? I told you earlier to this. V1 is a simple form, isn't it? The base form. Okay? Plus, it can come with S or ES. Got it? So, that is simple present. Have a look at the example. You'll understand better. They lead a simple life. You see the tense here. Okay? So, this is your simple tense. Moving forward to the second one. What is your second one? It is your present continuous tense. Your present continuous tense. Now, what is that you need to know here? In a sentence, you will have the subject. Your verb forms are this. That is, it is a verb with ing. Okay? So, look at the example. Teacher is walking. So, is walking. Is becomes present and walking becomes continuous and teacher becomes what? She is the subject. So teacher is walking towards the classroom. The action presently is happening but it is continuous. So when you look at the next example, was trying. Is it correct? When I say was, it is past, isn't it? It is not present. So this is completely wrong. What should you say? You should say, she is trying to complete the book, or I am trying to complete the book, or we are trying to complete the book. Did you get me where we go wrong? If I say she was trying, was is completely wrong because was means it's already happened. It is not present. So it becomes she is trying to complete the book, or I am trying to complete the book, or we are trying to complete the book. So since it is continuous, you have that ing verb also. Did you get me? Now, moving forward to the third one, present perfect. Now, when I say present perfect, once again you see the subject, you see has and have along with verb form with S. Okay. So, what is the example here? The ministers have announced a new policy. Now, what are we talking about? We are talking about present perfect. So, it is perfect. Why? Because it is announced. Have announced becomes present perfect. So, what is the subject here? The minister is a subject and have announced becomes the verb form, becomes the tense. In the same way, my son has completed a degree. My son has completed a degree. That is present perfect. Did you get me? So when you are talking about present perfect, then it is always with has and have and it is in the verb form 3. Moving forward, the last one is a present tense. Present perfect continuous. It is present. It is perfect also, but it is continuous. So, the subject is followed with has and have as usual, plus you need to add this been, and the verb form here will have a ing also. So what is the example for this? He has been working late these days. So present perfect continuous. He has been working continuously. So that is, he has been working. Present perfect continuous. In the same way, I have not been following the news at all. Once again, it is the present perfect continuous tense. So I hope you got to know the 4 kinds of present continuous tense. Now moving forward, the next one is the past tense. All the while I was talking about present, that is I am teaching, that is the present one, isn't it? Now what is it to do with past? When you look at the past, it expresses the action that has happened already. It has already happened in the past. So the past tense expresses the action that has happened in the past. So once again, here also you see 4 types of past tense. So what are the 4 types? The first one being simple past. So what is the simple past? It has a subject and it has a verb form to, V2. So look at the example. I used to go for swim. Simple past. I used to go for swim. And the next one, the man fed the birds in the field. So it is a simple tense, simple action which has happened in the past. Moving to the next one, past continuous. The action is past, but it is continuous. It was happening. So the subject, and it has, what is the verb form here? Was or were, and then it will always have ing because of continuous. So what is the example here? The gardener was watering the plants. The gardener was watering. He was is past and watering is continuous, isn't it? So past continuous tense. In the same sense, the cook is the subject here. Was peeling. The action is past. So was means past and the continuous action, that is peeling. So the cook was peeling potatoes. So that was past continuous tense. Going forward to the next one, it is past but it is perfect. So what happens here? It is subject plus had plus verb 3. You have a subject, you have had, and you will have verb 3. So look at the example here. He had flown a plane during his youth. So he had is past. Flown, for very sure he had flown, that is perfect. So he had flown. Once again, had, she had, that is past, and acted, that is perfect. So past perfect tense, that is she had acted in a few TV serials. So that becomes the past perfect tense. Moving forward to the last kind of past tense, that is past perfect continuous. So it is past, but it is perfect, but it is continuous. So continuous means the action was happening. So it will have the subject, that it has already happened, but it is continuous, and the verb is with ing. So look at this here. He had been playing golf for an hour. So had is past. Been playing is what? Continuous. It is perfect continuous. So when you look at the next example, she had been looking for the lost ring. So the action is already happened. She what? It was a past action, but it is perfect continuous. She had been. So had been becomes the perfect continuous, that is looking. So she had been looking for the lost string is past perfect continuous. So you got to see 4 kinds of past tense. Moving forward, let's look at the future tense. So when you look at future tense, it means the action is going to happen. It is not happen. Further it will happen. So that is future tense. Once again, you will have 4 kinds here. So what is a future tense? A future tense expresses that the actions have not yet happened. The actions have not yet happened, but they are likely to happen in future. They are likely to happen in future. So the future tense expresses the action that have not happened yet or that will likely to happen in the future. So what are the 4 kinds of future tense? Let's look at it. First one being simple future tense. So the subject will come followed by will, shall, and the V1 verb form, the verb 1 form. So look at the example here. I shall go to the movie next day. I shall go to a movie the next day. I have not gone to the movie. I shall go. Okay. So that is simple, shall go. My mother will buy me books. She has not bought me. She is going to buy me. So it is simple future tense. Okay. So simple future tense will have the subject followed by will or shall plus the verb form. So that being your simple future tense, let's go into the next one, that is future continuous. Once again, it's going to happen, but it is in a continuous form. So you will have the subject, you will have will be, shall be plus verb and ing. So have a look at this. They will be playing cricket. They will be playing cricket the next day. So that is future continuous tense. In the same sense, I shall be baking a cake tomorrow. That is going to be future continuous tense. Moving to the next one is future perfect tense. So you will have the subject and you will have along with verb. So what is it? I will have reached the station by tomorrow afternoon. I will have reached the station. I have not reached. I am going to reach. So I will have reached the station by tomorrow afternoon. The perfect means I will have. You are surely telling. So that is why you are putting it as will. In the same way, if I say, I will have completed my duty by evening, by very sure I have not completed it now, but perfectly I am telling you, I will have completed my duty by evening. So that's why it comes under future perfect tense. Moving to the next one, future perfect continuous tense. You are doing in future, it is perfect, but it is continuous. So you need to just add one been to the previous one. Subject will have been plus verb. So when you look at it, the students will have been writing the exam, or I will have been cleaning my house if you had not come. So that becomes the future continuous tense. So this way, in case you want to understand the tenses with examples in detail, please rewatch the slides. You get to understand. So moving forward, all the while I was talking to you all about the tenses that was in the active form. Those were 12 in number. But the total tenses in English grammar is how many? 16. So the last 4 tenses which are in the passive form, I told you that's not very important for you all right now. But still have a glance at it. What is the 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th? You will see past future tense, past future continuous tense, past future perfect tense, past, future, perfect continuous tense. No need for you to actually understand, but still, since it is a tenses class, I wanted to put this part also there. So if you want to go through, please go through. It is self-explanatory. Otherwise, you may ignore it. With this, let's move forward to do few exercises pertaining to tenses. I will be off screen. You all can look at the question, try answering it on your own. I will be putting up the answer, and then if you have answered it well, then brilliant. That means you have understood. So have a look at the board. So let's start with the first one. Fill in the blanks with the correct form of verbs given in the brackets. I could not recognize Seema. She dash put on a lot of weight. I advised her to stop dash eat and start dash skip and dash walk. So how are you going to fill this? So the answer to this is, I could not recognize Seema. She had put on a lot of weight. I advised her to stop eating and start skipping and walking. Moving to the next exercise. Fill in the blanks using the words in the bracket. I dash expect him here yesterday. He dash have not come till today. I dash was worried, am worried. So the answer goes this way. I expected him here yesterday. He has not come till today. I am worried. To the next one. Fill in the correct forms of verbs. It dash rain in the morning when I dash walk to school. Since India dash become independent, many other countries dash get their independence. I dash have my lunch when the postman dash knock. So the answer goes this way. It was raining in the morning when I was walking to school. Since India became independent, many other countries got their independence too. I was having my lunch when the postman knocked. So this way, few exercises you can get to see. Always remember, when you start something with a past tense, the whole paragraph will be in the past. Or if you're talking something about the present, everything has to be in the present. Or if it is in the future, everything has to be in the future. You can't start with past and then, come to future, then to present. No, that's wrong. See here, for example, was, it is past. The next one is also past itself. So these are few of the exercises. There's another one for you which doesn't come for your exam, but just to understand, if you have to correct the verb form, like in the first one, I have come yesterday. Generally, we use such sentences, but when you look at it, it is actually wrong. So you say, I came yesterday. That is the right form. Okay. Now the next one. I am working here since 2001. We generally talk that way, but we feel it is correct also, but actually it is wrong. You need to say, I have been working here since 2001. The next one. I am having a blue pen. Very commonly we speak, isn't it? But it is actually, I have a blue pen. That is a perfect way of saying. The last one, if it will rain, we shall not go out. So it says, if it rains, we shall not go out. We will not say, if it will rain. We will always say, if it rains, we shall not go out. So these are few of the exercises that I have showed you. You might feel, ma'am, these are very simple and we are going to do it. I am happy. But remember that you have to use the correct form of verbs. Now, no need for you to rewatch the whole thing. Just go back to the table what I showed you. I played tennis. I played tennis. I will be playing tennis. So just look at that. Look at the tenses in yellow. look at the examples that are written in white. That much will do for you to understand the 12 kinds of tenses. The rest of whatever you have seen, you can really neglect or ignore. Don't get confused. With this, let me end this class. I want to tell you all, remember, try to be perfect in your grammar. Okay, try to be perfect in your grammar. That is very important. I told you in my previous class also that grammar is a very important part of the language component, isn't it? So, practice, understand it in detail, apply and implement it well in your vocabulary or in your writing or when you speak. So, with this, see you in my next session. Discovering Tut. The saga continues. Until then, all smiles to you. Bye bye.